Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 401 for May 28th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth. Joining me this week, we have Niclotus Robertson Carroll.
Hello.
Still a long name. I don't like it. We are joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
So what? We watch anime. So what? We play League.
We don't do any of that. Actually, I watch a little bit of anime, but we don't play League. We don't talk on Skype anymore. Anyway.
Hit me up on Skype, boy.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I just uninstalled Skype.
Isn't it pre-installed on Windows now?
I don't think it was on mine. My laptop's kind of old, though.
Yeah. And we are, of course, joined by Andrew Rowe McVeigh.
It's me.
I'm your host, Nathan.
I have strawberries.
You have strawberries. Strawberries are delicious.
Did you bring enough to share with the rest of the class?
I did, but I ate them all.
When I worked at fast food, every summer we would get fresh strawberries and have fresh strawberry shakes. Oh, they were so good. They were so good. And, of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reetin Spruth. Aroa, tell us where you can find Connor and yourself.
You can go to aroa.website, which will then redirect you to aroa.neocities.org, I think.
Yeah, you had to change something last week, right?
Or it wasn't last week, but I had to change some stuff to make something work. I don't remember what it was.
Wasn't it my podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that wasn't why I had to change that. Though I did have to change a thing about the podcast website to make it work better. I don't know if it actually did anything.
So. No, I'm able to log in. So, and
okay.
I'm able to log in, and all the podcatchers except for Google is working.
And there is nothing wrong with that RSS feed, by the way. Just putting it out there. I checked. Google's system thingy says it's fine, so I don't know what its problem is.
Oh, interesting.
But my answer is don't use Google Podcasts.
Yeah, but we do have listeners on. Well, we don't.
Well, then they should use a better platform.
That's true. Cyberpunk Monk, is there anything you want to point out
about podcasts and catchers? I mean, I know a lot of shows specifically say that they have issues with Google, like
Clinton's Core Classics.
Oh yes, that's what. Yes, you should go and check out Clinton's Core Classics: Rise of the Rune Lords, first edition actual play podcast. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts, and I work hard on it, and I think you'd like it.
We do it every week.
Nicole's been helping me edit season 1 because season 1 is awful.
Good, and we do it every week, and I'm like, here, I'm gonna just set him up for that help. He missed it. And
it's been painstaking work, but the results have been rewarding.
Good. I'm happy that we're getting the first one edited. I know our former editor did not do as much editing as Cyberpunk Monk would have liked. And
didn't he do about as much editing as you do?
Yes. But we're more conversational and not, sitting there and like trying to play games and rolling dice. And so it's for a podcast like Clinton's Core Classics where we're playing a game, it would be good to cut out a lot of the banter. Whereas with this, the banter is what makes the podcast.
No, you want 3.5 hours uncut with a lot of time where there's just dead air. And you want to even include the bathroom breaks. That's what you really want to do.
We actually have a listener who requested that. Just one.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, you should make your episode longer, keeping all that stuff. And they're like, trust me, no you don't. That is not what you want.
Whenever I listened to back whenever the Lord Cat still, existed, and they did their D&D streams, I would listen to those. The completely unedited VODs that were like 4 hours long.
There is a certain segment of the audience that wants that, but then there's also the more mainstream that wants. They don't want to sit around and hear like Aiden,
No.
who is one of our players, be like, no, gotta look this up in the book. Okay, how does this work? All right,
well, there's ways to present. There's ways to present the rules lawyer stuff without having a bunch of clutter in there, and Connor's really good at that.
Yeah.
And boy, did we have some clutter in there.
We get better towards the we did it for a few years. We got better towards the end, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna ask Nick Lotus where we can find her, if anything. I know that Twitter's a shit show right now, so I don't know what you're doing.
Well, my my organization is no longer using Twitter at this point, and I have no further comment on that. But you can find my work at kunc.org. And I'm also on Instagram at nrc_on_kunc.
I see. Good. So, yeah. And then there's me, Nathan Reetin. You can find me everywhere at Reetin. The main one is Twitch, twitch.tv/Reetin. I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I rarely take time off. It's a problem, honestly, because the amount of time that I spend playing games on there and the amount of growth that I have on there, they don't correlate like at all. But
have you considered playing inside of a tub?
Yeah, but the problem is I don't have boobs, so I have to get the boob implants first. And I think that if I bought myself boob implants, that people would get mad at me.
Yeah, whatever. Do what you got to do for the channel.
Or you could just have a foot cam for those people.
That's true. I do have a kitty cam, and I thought that.
Now,
would
see,
help.
I think the cat probably draws lots of viewers. Zoe is very cute.
So the cat doesn't. I don't think the cat draws the viewers, but she keeps the viewers.
Well, there you go.
Right. So people are like, oh, what's this guy doing? He's playing. Oh, a kitty. Oh, look at her. She's napping on him. Oh, look at her. She's fucking up his jumps.
Look at this man who's pretending to be annoyed by this adorable cat and utterly failing.
It's not pretend. I do get annoyed by her, but she is cute. Anyway, we're going to move on. Ask Aroa, what games have you played this week?
What do you think? What do you think I've been playing?
World of Warcraft.
No. Well, yeah, but
Zelda.
Yeah, just a fuckload of Zelda. It's great.
Good.
I've spent actually like the entirety of the last week underground. And that shit is nuts. That just wow.
I didn't know if you were referring to your basement or the game.
Both.
Oh, okay.
But also like you gotta play a game. Play a game for the love of God, and don't spoil yourself on shit. It is much more exciting to just come across stuff. Like there are people that I talk to that are like, yeah, I looked up a guide for it. Just don't fucking ruin it for yourself. It's so much more fun to not do that. Stop it.
I have looked up almost nothing on the game. I barely know that you can build stuff, apparently.
Fucking boy, howdy, you could build stuff.
And
yeah,
that's it.
And that's like not looking any of that up. Every time something new, like every time I come across some new thing that's like, oh, I didn't even consider that as an option. It's like just the most fucking satisfying and incredible feeling. Like,
it's really nice that Valve loaned them Gary's mod to put into the game. That's pretty great.
You're not far off.
Because I haven't seen it, but I've seen headlines where it's like somebody created a motorcycle, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds exactly like what I would do in Gary's mod.
No, it's like people are making like Metal Gears.
That is cool too.
You did have to fight a Metal Gear at one point, so
we will talk more about Metal Gear later. But is that the only game you've been playing? Have you been playing it on your PC or Steam Deck?
So I replaced the fan in my Switch yesterday, because I was playing it between my deck and my PC, and the deck it just can't quite run it at a solid 30 FPS. Meanwhile, PC can run it. My PC can almost hit 60 FPS with it, which
At
the
like
60 FPS mod is a lot better now. It
oh good.
runs perfectly well. So I've been swapping between my Switch and my PC, which if you notice that your Switch is like constantly making loud fan noises, you might want to have somebody replace the fan in it and replace the thermal paste.
Switch? Do you mean Switch or deck?
Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, my Nintendo Switch. I prefer the way that it runs the game as opposed to running it in an emulator on my Steam Deck. And
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd only stopped playing on my Switch because the fan literally just straight up died, and I couldn't have that. So.
I think the next Switch is going to be, I'm sorry, the next Steam Deck is going to be just fantastic at running the Switch. Right now it's passable, but it's not.
It depends on the
perfect.
game.
Yeah, and
Because Metroid runs really well on it, supposedly.
Yeah, Metroid's fine.
Yeah, but Metroid's also like a 20-year-old game. Yes, they upped
Well,
a lot of the
even
stuff.
Dread runs well on it. Like, I didn't mean just the remake, but
oh, I see.
either way. But for the most part, it does fine even in Tears of the Kingdom. It's just it's hitting like 15 frames per second sometimes, and that's not really great.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Well, Connor, what games have you played this week?
I actually have a whole bunch of games to list, so I'm going to go through this list pretty quick.
Okay.
I've been playing a little bit of Mega Man Battle Network 2, which is a game that I also used to play in 15-minute bursts before bed when I was like 20 years younger. So nothing has changed fundamentally with my life. I've also been playing a little bit of Binding of Isaac because it's just one of those games that I always have on my Steam Deck. Good fucking game. I
so good.
just started playing the latest DLC, Repentance or whatever. I don't remember which one it is called. And just having the temptation of new things to do in this game. Like, there's so many things to unlock on it that it's not overwhelming. It's inviting. Like, if you're gonna do a run, even if you don't do that great, you'll probably end up getting something new for your trouble. And that's probably one of the secret successes of Binding of Isaac. But I don't need to sing about that game's laurels. It's popular enough. Been playing Shenmue 2, also in 15 to 30 minute bursts before bed. I'm almost done with Kowloon, I think. I'm like probably a little more than halfway done. God, I love this game. It feels like home sometimes.
Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit?
Hey, man. Did I tell you, like I had just enough money to get to the next part of the game, and like it didn't give me the option to say no, so I was like, well, I guess I'm broke again.
Yeah,
So,
you told me
yeah,
last week, yeah.
I have been doing a little bit of gambling.
I mean, that's the way you make money in that game is...
You could do a job that takes 4 hours and is not very fun to play, or you could save scum, excuse me, and just get it in like 10 minutes. No big deal, right?
Indeed. Especially if you have like an emulator or something. I assume you're playing the legit version on Steam, but if you have an emulator and you have save states, just be like, nope, lost that one. Reload the state and try again.
And yes, to confirm, I am playing on Steam Deck on Steam with the legit Sony Sega release.
That is awesome. I'm so happy that those games are on Steam, even if I'm not going to go back and play both of them.
Everyone should play it at least once. Like it's an experience, that's all I have to say about that. Also, been playing some Battlefield 2042, probably the best shooter in the market right now. And I've also been playing the Warhammer Mechanicus game. Skulls Fest is on right now, which is the yearly big video game sale that Games Workshop licensed games do. And this game has DLC that's like $10 that I never picked up. So I've been playing that. It's a good tactics game.
Good. I'm happy about it. Anything else?
Yes, 2 more. One of them. Do you guys know that Earthbound game that I play like once a year?
Yes.
Yeah, I sat down and beat that in its entirety because I've had family over the last 3 or 4 days, and I've been doing anything but being social with them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I
Earth,
can see that.
Earth,
Yeah.
Earthbound's a good game, and it runs great on my phone. And I was considering putting it on my Steam Deck, and I don't know. There's just some games that I can't go through the effort of pulling out the entire Game Boy just to play it. There is something nice about the portability of having the phone in your pocket that the Steam Deck just has no chance of matching.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I can't play games on my phone. I've never done that. Like
normally
I'll
I'm the
download games and then I'll just play them for a day and then just stop.
normally I'm the same way, but since I've gotten a flip phone, the Surface Duo, it's made it a lot easier.
That's right.
One thing I haven't done yet is try DS and 3DS emulation on it. I think I might download a DS emulator and try playing that Tactics game that came out for the DS. I never played it before. That was something I was considering.
Get a Wii U emulator and put it on there.
I could, probably.
I've seen
And then finally...
Oh, I was
Right.
just going to interrupt you. I have seen people use their Steam Deck as a Wii U.
Yes, I have seen that as well. Like there's plugins and add-ons that you could like install onto your hardware to use.
It's so cool.
It's clunky, but it is an option.
And what's the last game?
And then finally, best for last, I've been playing through Tears of the Kingdom on Steam Deck. I did a lot of configuring, and I've got it not consistently at 30 FPS. There's times where this engine is just like, hey, forget what you think, because we're running at 20 FPS, and there's nothing you could do about it. And Roa, does that happen like even on the PC?
The open world, by default, I believe runs at 20 FPS. That is what my experience was without modding the emulator.
And it sure feels like it.
When you're outside in the open world, it's 20 FPS, and then whenever you go into a shrine, it goes to 30 FPS.
And sometimes walking around in the open world, like if it's not loading everything, it will jump to 30 FPS. But yes, a lot of it does seem like it's spent at in between 20 and 30 FPS, and that's not great.
It seems to like dynamically choose to lock the frame rate to one or the other. I don't know why.
This game is good.
Yeah,
I'm not even super far. Like I just got my paraglider, and then I went to go save, and my game crashed. So hopefully that file actually saved. But boy, is this guy! I did something really embarrassed, and I wonder if I'm the only person who's done this. The very first time I found one of those falling rocks, I was like, "Oh, I know what to do. I'll use my time rewind powers and go up there." And then I hopped on it, and then I went all the way up, and then I was just in the middle of the sky for a while without a hang glider.
That
And,
sounds.
I did not
fun.
think that went through all the way.
It by the time I got the hang glider, I had already seen my wife jump on one of those. I hadn't even thought of doing that, which I think is like one of the most magical things about that game is that you can potentially watch somebody else playing and then they do something that you would have never thought to do and it works. And it's like, I can't fucking believe that worked.
So
Like,
All of my weapons are just fused versions of other types of the same weapon that I'm finding laying around. So my attack arcs are like 3 times the length of my body. It's a little ridiculous.
I also, so she told me you have to go in the depths. And I had been playing, I had already completed one of the 4 dungeons and I hadn't gone into the depths yet. And she was like, you have to go into the depths to unlock the camera function to do the camera stuff in a bunch of the side quests. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I've been in the depths, like I said, for the last week. I still don't have the camera function, but I do have a 5th power that is just down there.
I didn't unlock Fusro Da in Skyrim for like 20 hours. Like just the first part.
It really, yeah, it does capture that same feeling. And like Breath of the Wild did too. But this like goes as far as what I would say like an Elder Scrolls game does in terms of like you can spend so much time in this game and have a completely different experience from somebody else who's been playing it just as much as you. And like I really like it's so hard to get that out of a game nowadays. And with how many people are playing it, like it really does feel a lot like whenever Skyrim first came out 12 years ago.
I will play that game in like 2 months because I have other games I'm playing through right now. I am going to end this discussion and move on to Nick Lotus because we do have 2 more people to talk about the games and then a ton of stories. So, Nick Lotus, what games have you played this week?
Well, this is not a game, but I did want to just kind of chime in on it. I did just see today with my son the new Little Mermaid movie, and I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of it. Melissa McCarthy as Ursula honestly was not as. I mean, I didn't know what to expect going in, but she had a lot of the Pat Carroll energy of the original animated one, which I liked. And of course, Halle Bailey was an amazing Ariel. The movie recreated just the right, iconic moments and story beats from the original. Like, the scene where Ariel's singing on the rock and the waves are crashing dramatically behind her. And I almost made it all the way to the end without crying.
I don't like the live action movies. And I know a lot of people are upset because they made Ariel black,
yes,
which is stupid.
No, but Halle Bailey is a great singer. She gave a great performance. No notes.
I think The Little Mermaid would be the live action recreation that I would hate the least because I don't like that original movie.
Fair enough.
My sister ruined it for me by watching it every single day for like 3 months. And she would do that when we were kids, and it ruined that movie and Titanic for me. I can't watch Titanic without wanting to strangle somebody. Anyway.
That's like this guy I was dating in college.
Problems.
I don't have any problems. I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of movies being ruined for people, I was actually just telling Connor this the other day that I had a boyfriend in college who ruined the Lord of the Rings movies for me because I'd never seen them, and he insisted on marathoning all of the extended versions.
I mean, yes, the extended versions are awesome,
but all of them back to back, that's a lot. That's a lot of walking.
I would do that. But I would not.
Yeah, I would make a day to do that. I wouldn't just be like, "Hey, let's do this. It'll be fun."
I wouldn't.
By the way, this is your Saturday.
Yeah, I wouldn't force somebody else to do that. Like,
well, it was a situation where like it was a group of friends doing it, and it's like, okay, I'm going along, but holy crap, I was bored.
I like professional wrestling, but I'm not going to take my girlfriend and be like, "We're sitting down and we're watching 7 hours of Japanese wrestling." Like, I'm going to do that by myself. I'm not going to, like, bring her in and be like, aha, we're watching wrestling now. You can't even understand the language. So, I understand. Like, that's...
I wouldn't be able to make it through one movie.
I mean, yeah, one movie, like... You don't like movies, though.
This is correct.
What did you do? Did you play any other games? Did you play The Little Mermaid for the Genesis?
And there was the NES version that I played when I was a kid. But anyway, no, I did actually play one game this week, and it was Mario Kart 8. I just kind of picked that up to do something with my kid for a little while. He can't beat me yet, so at least I have that still. And I don't know how long this has been. I haven't played Mario Kart 8 in a while, so I don't know how long this DLC's been in there, but they have Birdo as a playable character now. So I really, really might have to get that because Birdo is my girl. Peach is great. Birdo is better.
That's good. That's good. I haven't picked up Mario Kart 8. I know I'm a heathen. I own a Switch and I don't have like any of the games everyone wants me to play. Like I don't have Super Smash Brothers and I don't have Mario Kart. And I hear they're both pretty good. I'm going to talk about the games I played this week. As you know, I was on Twitch. So Monday I played Redfall. We're getting towards the end, so I've been playing with Durga and Sarah. And we're almost at the end. I feel it. It's still really, really janky. Like they needed another 6 months in the oven before they release this, and deadlines just they were like, yeah, release it. We don't care that it's going to get 55% on Metacritic or whatever it's at. And it's, again, I said this before, we're not having fun, but there's just a lot of jank. Sometimes we can't connect to each other and we have to like reload it, and they don't save the progress between the people. So only the host's story progress goes on. So if Durga was the host because he was the only person that Sarah and I could connect to. So if I hosted, Durga could connect to me, but Sarah couldn't connect to me. Sarah doesn't have good enough internet to host, so we all had to go, get hosted through Durga. And if Durga isn't there, then we would have to start over because it's not that good of a game, and they should share the progress. But that's me, and I digress. Tuesday and Wednesday, I played Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I ended up beating that game. It's good. I really like the game. I was there. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm happy that Braytak from Stargate SG-1 was in it. And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but it's a good Jedi game, and you start out with all of your powers from the previous game, and you don't lose them magically, which is awesome, because that is a big problem in a lot of those games like God of War, where you'll go and they'll be like, aha, I took your powers from you. Have fun starting from level 1, bitch.
I'd really rather you didn't.
Yeah.
But okay.
And what really pisses me off is they start you out with those powers. So you're like going through the first level in like the original God of War games, and you're like, oh man, I'm actually powerful. This is great. I wonder how they're going to make me more powerful. And then Zeus comes along and is like, I'm taking all your powers. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you have to start over again. It's very, very frustrating. So
you mean like the beginning of every Metroid game?
Yeah, the beginning of every Metroid game. And I'm really happy that in this game, in Jedi Survivor, they don't do that. Wasn't Metroid Other M? I think that was the one for the... Was that for the Switch, or was it the Wii?
That was on the Wii, bro.
It was on the Wii.
That was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, I know. And I don't think they took your powers away, but you had to have somebody like your boyfriend.
Just didn't have them in the first place.
Yeah, your boyfriend would have to unlock them for you.
It was your boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are authorized to use your missiles now because the situation deems it. It's like, yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot for unlocking that button for me.
She was way more concerned with the baby than with using her missiles, because women love baby.
Oh yeah. And then
that game sucked.
Because I finished on Wednesday, I finished Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So I picked up another game. Unfortunately, it's only on the Epic Game Store. It's only in 1080p, and it only runs at 30 frames a second. You cannot change any of those. You can change.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. It's not Jedi Survivor.
No, why would you pay money for that?
Because I really wanted to play the game, because even with those bugs or features that they put in the game, limitations, it was still getting really good reviews. And it's the new Star Trek Resurgence game, which is Star Trek, but it's like a Telltale game. And it's really good. It's like playing through an episode or many episodes of Star Trek, and I really like it. It's really good. I wouldn't recommend that you buy it, but
I was gonna say, don't you dare fucking say you should play it, because I'm not giving the Epic Game Store my money for one.
Right. It's
I'm also not supporting a bad PC port.
Right. It's also on, I believe, Xbox One and PS4. So you could play it there, and that would probably be
I
the
just
better
have
experience.
to spend 8 hours updating my PS4.
I don't think it would take 8 hours.
Or like 3 weeks updating my Xbox since I haven't turned it on since you came here.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's how useless the Xbox One is.
We'll play some Rock Band when I come visit again.
Yeah.
But but the Star Trek Resurgence, the game itself, minus the fact for some fucking reason they decided to put it at 1080p. You can change the resolution, but every other resolution I tried was 4:3 aspect ratio.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Like 1080p is the highest, and it only runs at 30 frames a second. I tried changing the INI file to be like, make it 60, and then it's just like, nah, we're not doing that. I think from everywhere I read, I think it might be due to some physics in the game, but it's a Telltale game. What physics do you have to worry about?
It might be that it would fuck with the timings of the cutscenes, because that's a thing in Zelda. Yeah, the original 60 FPS mod, it just made the game run at 60 FPS no matter what, and all of the timings for everything, the physics, and even the internal clock of the game was all based around the frame rate.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that could be it. But even with all of those limitations, I'm still having fun with the game. Again, I wouldn't recommend anyone buy it, but if they come out with a mod, first off, if it goes on sale, I got it for it's on sale for $40. Like that's the retail price. I got it for $30 because I guess I had an Epic coupon.
Yeah, there's an Epic sale going on right now.
So I got it for $30. I would say if it was $20 or less, and they came out with mods that would allow you to, change the resolution beyond 1080p, that would be great. Or if they, patched in the ability to change your resolution and increase the frame rate beyond 30 frames a second. But I don't
Or
see
you
that
could
happening.
you could also get Fallout New Vegas for free.
Yeah, you can
on
get
the
Fallout
Epic Game Store.
Yeah, the Ultimate Edition of Fallout New Vegas, and you can play that, and that's still a little janky as well, but not as janky.
Oh, it's janky, but it is just so
It's so good.
Yes, it's so full of heart. Why won't you let me love you, Boone? Why?
And it plays absolutely fine on the Steam Deck. So you could get if you got Epic Game Store, the free version of New Vegas, you could get the Heroic Launcher, download New Vegas on your Steam Deck, and then play it that way. If you already have it on Steam, which I don't know why you want it, New Vegas runs perfectly well on the Steam Deck. Because
this is making me want to replay New Vegas.
My girlfriend was just absolutely crushing through New Vegas before her Steam Deck. It didn't die, but her account got locked. And she refuses to contact support because she doesn't want to talk to people. I was like, but I bought you that. You should not have
Also,
it as a paperweight.
It's your Steam account.
I know. Trust me.
Social anxiety is a hell of a thing.
I know. We're gonna move on.
I get that. I don't want to talk to anybody either. But God,
I'll do it for her, but she won't let me. We're going to move on to our news stories for the day because we've spent half an hour talking about where you can find us in games we've been playing. Jackalyptic Games has announced this. I brought over only for Connor, and I don't even think he'll care about it because it's an MMO. They're coming out with a new Warhammer MMO.
Yeah, sure are.
I mean, I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too. I hear that the old Warhammer MMO was actually pretty good. I just never played it.
It was good, but it was very PvP based.
I don't like that.
You're not going to make a super successful MMO like that.
It says here, it's a quote from one of the developers. It says, "We haven't specified the particular IP yet." So it is. So there's 40K, and then there's And that's the newer stuff, right? Like that's like the future stuff.
There's 40K, there's 30K, which is also known as the Horus Heresy. Then there's Age of Sigmar, which is the new name for Warhammer Fantasy. As far as like, there's also Necromunda, which is 40K. There's Blood Bowl, which is Age of Sigmar. It jumps all over the place.
Is the End Times considered a separate thing?
I
Or is
believe
that like
End
is that still
Times-
part of Age of Sigmar?
I believe End Times is Age of Sigmar.
Interesting. They're making that's it. We figured it out. They're making a Blood Bowl MMO.
I'd fucking play that.
I love Blood Bowl.
I'd play the fuck out of that.
But the quote says, "We haven't specified the particular IP yet, but I can tell you as a longtime fan of everything Warhammer, I'm thrilled. Honestly, my career has been spent trying to create games inspired by my personal hobbies, comic books, which was City of Heroes and Champions Online." So apparently the developer worked on City of Heroes, Champions Online, Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, DC Universe Online, and a couple of stabs at Marvel. And then Warhammer is another passion of mine. So the developer is
That's a pretty
excited.
good pedigree, I think.
Yeah. I think all of those games they've had a level of success. And I'm hoping, I hate Star Trek Online, but I understand why some people really like it. But I do think that it would be cool to see another Warhammer game, MMO game, and I'm not sure. That's it. That's all that they've said, is that we are developing one, and they haven't released any information or any. They haven't released any pictures, any videos, anything like that. So
Right, because it's purely in pre-development
yes,
right now.
something like that.
Obviously, I like the IP and I want to see it succeed, but I don't know what I'm looking at to have succeed.
The studio was founded in May 2022. So at most, this game has been in development for a year. And I'm going to imagine it's even shorter than that.
Yeah, they probably finally got everything settled into where they're going to make an MMO, and they're still working with Games Workshop to decide what it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you updated. I'm sure more information will come out, and we'll talk about it because it's one of the passions of Connor. So I figure we'll talk more about Warhammer because he likes that.
It's a fun world. I like it.
Well, it's a universe, and it's not just one world. It's an entire universe, Connor.
Boo. Boo
And
this man.
now to speak about Earth, we're going to talk about China has approved Microsoft's buyout of Activision Blizzard. So far, from what I recall, we've spoken about the UK has rejected it. The European Union has approved it, and now China has approved it. I think that's looking good for the eventual buyout of Activision Blizzard for Microsoft. If the United States approves it, it's just going to go through. Like they'll find some way to basically say, get on board, or we're not going to sell these products in the UK, and the UK will probably just cave. That's what I see. But I did tell you that we'd give you updates on this. And that's the update. China has approved it. And China, I don't know if you know this, it's a huge market. There's a few people in China, and they may play video games sometimes. Did they
like 2 hours a week?
Yeah. Did they take
That's
away?
only if you're 18 or younger.
Did they take away World of Warcraft out of China?
They didn't take it out of China. Well, okay, so Activision has nobody in China to localize it, basically. Like they can't support it in China. So everyone, which this was already the case, by the way, just going to put it out there. People in China are just going to be forced to play on American servers, and that is already very much a thing. It's really obnoxious. I'm just going to say it flat out. I hate it. I hate that it has to happen. Just like all the oceanic people who there are no oceanic realms. You have to play on fucking North America So your ping is always 500 milliseconds when you're playing with somebody in Australia. It's stupid. Anyway,
that sucks. And I agree with you. I also don't think World of Warcraft is made for that level of international support. We've spoken about it before, like Final Fantasy 11 and 14 has a built-in translator.
oh,
Uh,
they have so there's some stuff where like it'll, if you like put equipment or a spell type or something in there, it'll automatically change it over. They don't have any kind of translation function or anything, but
I'm just
I mean,
still so mad that nobody's stolen that idea of just having like, you
Just
know, like
shooting everything through Google Translate.
Yeah, well, having a few hundred phrases, not like anything
PSO2
massive.
has it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. That's another Japanese.
It's another Japanese game.
Yeah.
Go figure.
But yeah, so having like just a little bit of auto translate, like again, you know, like 100, 200, 300 maybe phrases that you could go through and kind of just find what you need to say to communicate this to people. Anyway, it's stupid that they don't have that, but I understand that would probably take more time than they want to put towards it. And the next story we're going to talk about is one that's near and dear to our hearts. We've been talking about this basically since we started our podcast. It's not dying. Why won't it die? Movie Pass.
Put it out of its misery.
Jesus.
I
I
forgot that it came back.
It keeps coming back and then just getting shot in the head, and then
somehow Movie Pass has returned.
Yeah.
I guess it's spent more time dead than alive because I really haven't heard about it that much.
It'll die and then just
it was
come
a
back.
number of years between its first death and it coming back, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
I guess somebody just whether it be it's got to be one of the owners just really, really likes the idea and won't let it go, even though it's an inherently not sustainable business model.
Yeah.
Like there is no way to make it work unless you partner with unless you partner with the major chains.
Well, and
the major chains already have their own program.
Well, let's go back here and we'll talk about how it's working. Even in the article they say it's Movie Pass 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever. It does say that from the article in Engadget, the nationwide relaunch includes over 4,000 movie theater locations throughout the country. It says AMC, Regal, Cinemark, and a slew of smaller regional chains. The subscription model now costs a bit more money. So it used to be $10 for unlimited in-person movies. And the idea was that you would only go watch a movie once or twice a month. So you would end up making or Movie Pass would end up making a profit. However, that didn't work.
Tickets are not that cheap.
However, that didn't work. And a lot of people, it's funny because people who sign up for a service where you get unlimited movies will probably want to go watch movies all the time. Those are the types of people who want to watch movies all the time. So the new one has a different model. Plans do still start at $10 a month, but this is only good for 3 movies each month. See, that's fair, right? That makes sense. $10 a month, you go watch 3 movies a month. And I'm sure there are blackout dates and like you can't watch a movie on opening night, stuff like that. I think that would have been a better solution at the start, but that's not what they did. If you want to go up from there, you get subscription tiers go all the way up to $40 a month, which allows for 30 theatrical screenings. So it's 4 times more expensive than the original plan, which was unlimited. But honestly, if you're going to watch 30 movies a month, $40 for that is still really good. Like it's a really good price. I'd still like to
know how they plan on making money.
I have no idea how that's going to make the money unless they have partnered.
So it does look like, so they said before you can make arrangements to see a film on the Movie Pass app as long as the theater has partnered directly with the company. So maybe they have worked something out then.
Yeah, maybe they have a licensing fee where they, pay a certain percentage to the movie theaters and stuff.
It's definitely something like that.
And
that was what had killed the fucking business in the first place. So at least they've learned that much.
Yeah, but, and if you like watching movies in movie theaters, and you're in a position where you're like, I want to go watch 30 movies a month, $40 is not that bad. And I think there are
30 movies come out in a month.
A lot of people will rewatch movies in theaters all the time. That's
now that my kid's actually old enough to sit through a movie for the most part, this might actually be worth it to me.
Yeah.
Maybe not the high tier, like 31s a month or whatever, but like the 3 maybe. I don't know if 3 kids movies come out in a month.
I could see the $10 a month tier being appealing to a large number of people.
Yeah.
Like, because like realistically, I don't think most people are going to see more than a couple of movies a month. And if you directly limit them, then they definitely won't see more than a couple movies a month. And you're essentially paying like half price at that point. And I think people are into that.
My problem is I'm like an hour away from a Regal Cinema. So there's no way I'm going to be doing that once. Even once a month is there's like, oh, I don't want to drive an hour to go watch a movie at Regal. I have a movie theater in town, but
they do say that they are partnered with some local theaters.
I doubt it's a local. It's like it's not a chain theater at all.
But if they're getting, you have to keep in mind, if they're getting feature films, they have connections somewhere with the movie industry. Like otherwise, they wouldn't be getting those flash drives with the movie on them.
Oh, what? So, whoa! Actually, it might. Let me see. I'm looking at the list. Actually, you are correct. The place that I live is partnered with this.
Well, there you go.
Shockingly enough, I am very, very shocked that they would include this movie theater in this town of 8,000 people to be partnered with this. So with Movie Pass. So that actually maybe would be worth it if if I wanted to go watch a movie in theaters, which I don't usually, but that's okay. It happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have not considered going to see a movie since Sonic 2.
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy last weekend. That was pretty good. That's about it.
There was something else that appealed to. What was it?
What?
There was something else that appealed to my man-childness that was recently announced for theaters.
Oh, The Little Mermaid.
Oh, right, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, right, we spoke about that last week.
Yeah, you guys talked about that last week.
Yeah. That might be enough to drag me back, but for the most part, yeah, I don't care about movies.
All right, we're gonna move past Movie Pass, just like the economy is going to do that in 3 months. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about the 3DS. Nintendo just fucking things up this week.
Nintendo just fucking hates everyone.
They do.
Nintendo doesn't want you playing their games.
They have decided to do an update for their 3DS consoles, which has broken common homebrew hacking methods.
So I brought this up, and since I already have a pretty good background with 3DS hacking, I assumed that I would go in on it.
Oh, thank God.
So, yeah, for a very long time now, since Nintendo was still supporting the 3DS even, it has been trivial to hack your 3DS. There's a website that's like 3DS hacks dot something. Might even be just .guide. But in any case, yeah, it's pathetically easy. You put some files on an SD card, plug that in, open, I think, the like sound recorder app or something like that, and then you're done. You can run whatever you want on your 3DS, which of course includes pirated games. But hey, Nintendo is literally like has literally said, no, we don't want you to play this console anymore. It is dead. Go away. So why would they care at this point? I don't know. But Nintendo decided, hey, since we don't want you to play this console anymore, we're going to launch an update that its only purpose is to keep you from being able to hack the 3DS very easily. It is still possible, I must mention, but it is nowhere near as trivial as it was before.
So if you have a 3DS, don't update it.
Yeah, which, like, what? Nobody who hacks their 3DS is going to update their 3DS in the first place. Like, nobody who is open to this idea is going to ever update to this particular update. So I don't know I don't know which asshole at Nintendo decided to do this and thought that it would be worth the developer who had to go through and fix all this shit. I don't know what their justification was in that. Like, did they just have some extra budget left over and they like brought in an intern and was like, hey, can you just run a few commands to patch all of these internal middleware applications to make our fucking
It was
10-year-old system safe?
It was one guy, and they're like, dude, you've been here for 20 years. You work on the 3DS, it's dead. We're gonna fire you. And he's like, no, I got an update. I got an update for 3DS. I'm gonna make it can't hack it? Huh?
Now I do wonder, maybe this is a preemptive thing for an upcoming 3DS launch on Switch or something, or maybe for whatever the Switch 2, because what a lot of people don't know is the PSP actually has an updated version of the PlayStation 1 BIOS on it, and that makes certain games work better than they did even on like original hardware. And there, on top of that, there's a version of the PSP operating system that was released for the Vita emulator. So like there's a PSP emulator inside of the Vita, and that is running a particular version of the PSP firmware. So like maybe it's something like that where they patched these things so that you couldn't run homebrew within the 3DS emulator that they're going to release for Switch Online with whatever the next Switch is. So maybe it's something like that, and they were just like, well, it's going to run on original hardware anyway. Why don't we push this out and take a bunch of piracy open devices off the market, more or less. I don't know. Still seems like a really stupid waste of time, but they did it, and it's dumb.
I would do this,
especially now that you can't buy 3DS games anymore.
I would do this. I would have kept the original Xbox servers online just to patch out stuff like this. Just bring. I would bring the service, be like, we're bringing the Xbox service back online, baby, and then people would plug in. And then it would update and just crash all of their modded Xboxes. Like
it really would be along those same lines as being like, we are here at Microsoft. We love old platforms, so we're launching a new update for the original Xbox. Just put this with, and then they send out a bunch of fucking DVDs to everybody who wants them. They update their Xbox, and its only purpose is to make it so that you can't run homebrew on it anymore.
Oh, that would be magical.
Oh, by the way, if you try to open up the original Splinter Cell to install Linux on it, it bricks it.
Yeah, it just if you try to launch that particular version of Splinter Cell or Mech Assault or the fucking 007 game,
I
any of those.
what I love is if you go to eBay and you look up Splinter Cell original Xbox, they're like, yeah, it comes with a flash drive with the hacking on it. I'm like, oh, great, sweet. Did that a few
Originally
years
bought
back.
that game to hack my Xbox, and then it came with the extra bonus of being a solid ass game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's a fantastic game.
That's actually very similar, and I know I shouldn't be getting on a tangent, but it's real short. There's a series of games on the PSP called DJ Max Portable, and
We're gonna talk about Patapone for a second.
no, DJ Max has an anti-piracy feature because they knew that the PSP was really prone to piracy. If it detects the folder on your memory card that everyone uses to store ISOs, it will delete all of your saves for every game on your PSP.
That's not cool. That's awful.
No, it's not.
I
But
I
that's what
remember
it did.
I remember I used to read something called The Angry Technician, something like that. And he was an IT guy and he worked for a school. And he was like, sometimes I'd, be going through people's folders, making sure they didn't have anything that wasn't allowed in the schools. And they would save emulators onto their little section that they had available, like the 200 megs that you have available to you to save files and stuff. And so what he would do is he would go through and delete their save files for like their N64 emulators and stuff.
Oh, what a bitch.
He's like, "Yep, I wouldn't delete the entire thing. I would just delete their save files." Awesome.
Evil.
We are going to move on, and our next story, we are all American, and there is nothing more American than a bunch of white people talking about how it is to be black in the United States. So there is a new VR game that is designed to help people experience what it was like to play in the Negro leagues of baseball. That's what it says here.
And I brought this up. It is an NPR story, lovingly referred to by our member stations as the mothership. But in any case, no, I was not coming at the story at the angle that Nathan just presented.
Sorry.
I was.
But speaking of, you guys were just talking about how MoviePass won't die. Maybe it's just my perspective that's not fully realized. But it seems like VR has kind of just been floating just under the radar for the most part. Like, stop trying to make it a thing. I can almost like see the Mean Girls memes in my head.
I love VR. I love VR. It's so good.
Yeah, but no one supports it.
No.
Go on.
And so it was interesting to me because largely, like there's been a couple of big hits like your Beat Sabers, and I'm not quite sure how the Half-Life Alyx game was received.
Great.
But at least it got a lot of press.
Yeah, it would. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, but a lot of other VR games that get any sort of notice are meme games, and so this story was interesting to me because it was not only kind of, well, okay, this VR experience has risen to the level of national coverage on a major news outlet, but also it's just kind of cool to see this technology being used for, social education and commentary. Because the developer is an associate professor at North Carolina State University. And the idea is, this game tries to present both the racism that was involved, of course, of just being a black person in the 1940s, but then also the acclaim that the players received and, kind of showing a more comprehensive thing. And the idea is, you can role play through this thing that you've only ever read about in a history book.
That's actually a lot more interesting than I thought that this was. So I didn't actually read anything about what you had posted because I'm a dick, but that is really cool. I was thinking it was just somebody had made a game that was you're a black guy playing baseball in the 40s, and like it was going to be like trying to tell a story but not necessarily like do anything meaningful with that. But the fact that it's somebody who is obviously very involved in in the study of that sort of thing. That makes it a lot more appealing to me. I think it was only $10 too.
Yeah, I was thinking
So-
about getting it because it does look interesting.
Because
Do you
I've
have
talked before.
I'm sorry,
that-
go on.
Sorry, but I've said before, I think that VR does grant a very unique way of being able to allow a player to experience having a different body in general. Like, I do really think that if we can make the technology just that little bit more immersive, that things like gender therapy can actually probably be helped quite a bit by this sort of tech. I know that I've played VR chat, and just having the experience of being in a different body and seeing that movement connected to my movement, like that feeling of immersion, it's very impactful in a way that only VR can deliver. I think even with as not that great as the tech really is at the end of the day, I am very interested in what this has to say now that I know that it's not just sort of a baseball simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I get the impression, I haven't played it, but from the story, I get the impression that it's kind of like almost like a living history kind of situation, but it's in your living room instead of having to go somewhere.
That is a really neat idea. I haven't even put my VR headset on in months, so this might be something to actually get me to try it out again.
Oh, and Nathan, I think you were going to ask if I have a VR headset, which I don't. And I was actually going to I was thinking of going back and looking and seeing if there's, a version that you don't have to have the headset for.
Oh yeah, that might you might have to play it in VR, and if it's coming for the PC, then you have to get either an Oculus or a Vive or an
Yeah,
Index
well, I mean,
or
could-
whatever.
You
as far
could
as I
get
know,
like
as
a-
far as I know, it's exclusively on Steam right now.
Yeah,
You could get a Quest and use it with PC Link.
and the Quest is 300, or did it go up in price?
Brand new, it's I think brand new it's still like 400, but you can get them used on like eBay or something and just get a replacement face gasket for like $10.
That's
Oh,
what
I do
I
have.
I had a
I
friend
actually do
who
have- Sorry, I actually do have a VR headset for my PS4, but I don't know if there's any way to make that compatible with Steam.
It doesn't work very well from experience.
yeah.
There you can make it work for like watching videos in VR, but I would not use it for playing games in VR.
That makes sense. We are going to move on to the last. The last story is mini stories because it's covering the Sony State of Play, and I'm going to do just like a 1.5 minute rant here. You guys know that I do IT work. I fix computers for a living for a dental company, and the average amount of phone calls I get in one day is 0. And so I was like, okay, sweet. Tickets. The queue's pretty slow. I'm gonna put on State of Play. I'll take notes and stuff while watching it. And in that 1 hour that they were going on, I got 5 phone calls of people wanting my help. And I was like, why are you calling me directly? We have a ticket line, and we have a line that you call in when you need tech help, and you are calling me directly. I was very upset because I didn't get to take my notes or really watch it as much as I wanted to. So, very upsetting. Of course, it had to happen. That's always what happens, right? When you're trying to sit down and do something, you just get bombarded with stuff. So, I was trying to look for a better list, but this was kind of the best list I could get was from Destructoid. I wanted just like all the announcements and trailers popped up like we normally have, but I couldn't find one that was good. So they all kind of suck. Did any of you watch State of Play live?
Yes.
What did you think of it, Connor? I think the consensus is it was not very good.
I think I've seen a lot of these innovations in Nintendo products over the last decade beforehand.
Yes. So it kicked off with something called Fair Games. It's a new game from Haven. and it was mostly a tone-setting trailer, but the tone seemed to be techno cyber heist, which sounds good. But I don't recall seeing. Again, I was getting phone calls the whole time, so you'll have to forgive me for looking this up real quick. But yeah, it looks. I think I remember this. Act now, and then yeah, it doesn't show any actual gameplay.
Yeah, it's you're going to be hearing that a lot this evening.
Yes. Well, yeah. I do think that I like that there are more games coming out like this because, you know, we like Payday. But I played that Rocky City game and it
game sucks.
wasn't good.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. It was
Hey, you know what else
alright.
wasn't good? Helldivers. The original Helldivers wasn't very good either.
Was it not good?
No, it was like
what-
mid, very mid. It got some patches later that I think supposedly made it a little better. But
when I saw this, when I first saw the beginning part of the trailer, I thought it was a Starship Troopers game.
that's very similar to what Helldivers is anyway, so that makes sense.
That's
I'm
basically
very confused
what
as
it
why
is.
they had ODST on a Sony product.
Because they had to. Then the next one they talked about was Immortals of Avum. That how you say
I'm
it?
guessing? I don't know. Avium?
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter where you do magic stuff.
There's a little bit of gameplay at the end.
It shows off a lot of environments, and they all look like they're doing the same boring, unimaginative first-person shooter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and maybe it's just me, but it looks like there's too many particle effects on scene. Like there's just
Yeah, it's
too
pre-rendered
much.
cutscene.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a PS5 launch title where they're like trying to show off how many particle effects that they can do.
Yeah, it's just like too much visual information coming in at once, and it doesn't mean anything to me.
And also, like, is this a multiplayer game? No, it's a single player story driven game. This looks like it's going to be really boring.
Yeah. You know what doesn't look actually very boring is Ghost Runner 2. I hear Ghost Runner 1 was great, so
Yeah, it's good.
Ghost Runner 2 will probably
Speed running
be great
first person platformer.
as well. Isn't it? It's kind of a puzzle game. Like you're just trying to find the way through.
It's very much like any other side scrolling, really hard as nails platformer. Except
I'd say it's
in
a
first
puzzle
person.
game in the same way that like Super Meat Boy, the puzzle game.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, all
I was
of
trying
those
to
games.
think of. I'm trying to think of the one that Celeste.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very akin to Celeste.
The next game they spoke about was Phantom Blade Zero, and originally when looking at this, I thought, oh, it's Ghost of Tsushima 2, and then it wasn't. It was Phantom Blade Zero, which is very similar. You're playing a samurai basically and fighting.
It looks
guys
a
with
lot more fucking hardcore, like
It does.
in terms of just over the top violence and action, though.
I'm-
Like it doesn't look as slow paced.
Yeah, if you watch through, because it does show gameplay towards the end, but just the first like minute, I was like, oh, it's Ghost of Tsushima, and then it starts going kind of off the rails, and
Yeah,
not
I
being
thought it was
as
gonna be.
grounded.
I thought it was like Sekiro or something, but even that, like, it's not even. It's way faster even than Sekiro, and it has a lot of like theatrical movements and shit. Like, I'm down with this.
Yeah,
I think
it looks
it looks
good.
cool as fuck.
It looks good. I think this one is this an exclusive? I'm not sure.
No, it's on PC and PS5.
Okay, we'll talk about all that in a minute too. The next one was
Are we really
Sword.
gonna go through every single one of these fucking things?
Yes.
I imagine a lot of these are going to be like, yep, it sure is. Anyways,
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Next game is Sword of the Sea, and it's Journey. That's all it is.
Wow,
It's Journey. It's a walking simulator, running simulator.
don't care.
There's a new entry in the Talos Principle 2.
Oh boy, first person puzzle game. Don't care.
Yeah.
And then we've got Neva?
Yeah, they made Gris, so it's another fucking boring game that's just 2D Journey.
Okay,
Yep.
2D Journey, not good. Not
I
good.
would actually say this is probably going to be like Neo, where Sony was like, "Oh, we can make 2D basic shaded platformers that make people cry," and they just throw money at you. Yeah, let's do that.
Then we've
Oh
got
yeah, it is. There's some like crying bit at the end. I don't fucking care.
Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean.
I mean, that pun alone has my attention.
Yeah.
I don't see. They don't have the trailer here, and again, I wasn't able to see it because I was on a phone call at the time.
It's coming out next year, so it probably didn't have any gameplay anyway.
I'm looking. No, it's an anime style cutscene. Although, nope, there's a little bit of gameplay at the end where they are driving around in a ship and they blow up a buoy.
It's Cat Quest. I didn't even realize it was Cat Quest. Cat Quest, the first Cat Quest was great, so it's probably gonna be good.
Yeah. The next game I do remember seeing, it's called Foam Stars, and it is
Splatoon?
It's Splatoon. That's all it is.
Like I just read that sentence and was like, oh, it's Splatoon. Okay.
Yeah.
It's Splatoon.
And to be fair, it looks fun. Foam Stars looks like it, it looks like Splatoon, and Splatoon was fun. It is more anime based. Well, different type of anime based.
I was gonna say, you think this looks anime? What the fuck are you?
There's a little like it definitely looks like they're going for an anime style.
It looks like
Art
Fortnite art style.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's very bright, very colorful. Instead
Can't
of
wait to see this dead in the water within 1 year of its release.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
thing is gonna tank.
Oh yeah. It is Splatoon, and you don't turn into a squid. You're just a human who's going around, and instead of doing ink, it's
Man,
foam.
they even have the thing where you like ride on you move fast whenever you're in your own color.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
like-
this reeks of copyright infringement.
Yeah. I am really excited for the lawsuit that Nintendo is gonna place
Well,
on
it's-
Sony.
Certainly different enough, but I definitely don't care.
No, if it's free, maybe it'll be all right.
No.
But
No,
Don't care.
It'll be $20, just like Super. I almost said Super Mario,
It's
just like
not.
PlayStation
Oh god,
All-Stars
it's another
was.
Squeenix game too? What
Yep.
is Square Enix doing?
I don't know. The
Losing
next one,
money.
The next one is the Plucky Squire, which
Real
is
talk, guys. I'm kind of excited for this one. This one looks dope as shit,
it does look pretty good. It's
and I think it's coming out for PC too.
you play a tiny character. It's
Like a
you're-
storybook character.
Yeah, you play like a storybook character, or I'm thinking Small Soldiers, where you're
Okay.
a toy, basically doing like it's 3D platforming and action, and then you also have storybook areas where it is
Oh
2D.
yeah.
That looks so
It's-
cute.
It's Super Paper Mario.
Yeah,
And you also like there's like in the pictures on PlayStation blog, there are parts where you like go into the side of like a toy container that has like art on the side of it,
Mhm.
or like just the side of a little mug. Like that's really neat.
This
Okay.
game, of all that I've seen, this is the one that I was like, huh, okay, yeah.
the next game I'm not sure exactly
Roblox.
what it
It's-
is.
We could skip
It's
it.
it is a single player heist game where your goal is to get the thing to the location by whatever means necessary, and that means is usually involving a lot of destruction of all of the voxels in the environment. It's been
Oh.
on PC for like years now.
It's called Teardown.
So-
I don't like the fact that it is single player. If I'm doing a
If
heist
you
game,
really
I want
wanted to play this, just play Red Faction Gorilla.
Yes.
It is very akin to Red Faction Gorilla in terms of its destruction capability. Yeah.
Yes. And everybody, I know there's a lot of people that are excited that they're coming out with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So it's a re-release of Metal Gear Solid Snake.
Well, it's not a re-release. It's a full-on remake.
It's a remake of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I've never
Because those
played it.
Metal Gear Solid games do so great without Kojima at the helm.
Well, they're just not going to change anything. This is Konami looking at what Capcom's doing with the Resident Evil series and going, "Hey, we have a bunch of old games that we can pay somebody to just make with new graphics.
Yeah.
We'll just do that."
They also are re-releasing Metal Gear Solid and Sons of Liberty to PS5 this autumn as well. So it's Metal Gear Solid
And Snake Eater
Sons of-
is the original versions.
Yes. So that's the collection that will be coming, which is pretty cool.
They
I
sure
bet-
are porting games.
Then
Yeah,
there's...
I bet that it's just running in a fucking emulator,
That'd be great. There's
or it's whatever
Towers,
the HD collection did.
Towers of... I don't know
I'm
how to
guessing
say it.
You got
Agazba.
me, man.
I'm guessing Agazba.
Agazba.
Yeah.
I actually had
Oh.
a friend who
It's Breath of
messaged...
the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend who messaged me today saying she was interested. She was like, "What is this game? It's Jabba. It's got something like a gospel." I was like, "I don't fucking know," because
No,
again, I wasn't able to watch this.
Literally, while I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, look, Sony's got a Breath of the Wild now."
That's good. I'm happy. I'm
That's all
happy
it
for them.
is.
And it should be.
It's like
I don't
Breath of
know.
the Wild tied with Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, they
I
do
was
have
even
giant
thinking
monsters.
like Horizon.
Yeah,
But yeah, probably Shadow of the Colossus is more apt.
just because of all the giant things that
Yeah.
you seem to walk around on.
Yeah, I see.
Speaking of giant things,
I know I'm not
Square Enix also
interested.
teased Final Fantasy 16.
Oh
That's
my
all we
god,
have
it
to
looks
say
so
about that.
bad.
It looks so bad.
I haven't seen much of anything on it, but just reading about it and like especially the game rating, I'm interested. I want to know what the fuck they're gonna do with the story because it sounds like it's gonna be cracked as fuck.
It's gonna be
And
so
like
bad.
calling the giant boss battles with your summons being like wrestling matches. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
It's
Like,
gonna
I
be
just wanna
cinematic
know.
and boring.
They tried to do that in Final Fantasy 12, where when you used a summon, you like turned into that summon.
Yeah, no, but I think Connor's right. It's just going to be like really cinematic, and you're going to like push the button to win. But I still
Probably.
want to see. I want to watch the clips of it. Like I'm just excited for that shit. I
And
don't care about Final Fantasy.
And that releases June 22nd, so like a month from now. And
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
I
gonna
will
be way
tell
too
you-
busy playing Diablo for that.
I will tell you, I am going to hate this game. I'm still gonna buy it because I hate myself. I'm gonna buy it and play it because I'm stupid. But I will be. That's June 22nd is when the new Final Fantasy 16 comes out. They also announced something else that people might be interested in. Alan Wake 2 comes out October 17th.
Yeah, it's an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC, so I don't care.
Swing and a miss. And also, it looks like they turned it, instead of being Alan Wake, into The Last of Us, which I just think that's another swing and a miss with them.
Probably.
Remedy, no, why?
And then another October. I do like that a lot of the games they're talking about are getting released this year. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, October 12th. Does anybody here still play Assassin's Creed?
I will probably eventually get this. I never played Valhalla yet, so I mean, like, I'm a couple versions behind yet, but I will probably eventually end up.
What
playing
was
this.
the one before that? Was that Origins? Or
It was either Odyssey or
Odyssey,
Origins. I think
Odyssey.
it was Odyssey.
Yeah.
That was fun. I never beat it, but I played a lot.
And then we've got something called Revenant Hill.
Yeah,
New
it's
game
from the
from-
same studio who did Night in the Woods.
This does not look like a game that would appeal to me. Would it appeal to you, Nick Lotus, since you knew about it?
Well, yeah, I was scrolling through this, and I just I saw where Night in the Woods fans have something to in this. And I haven't played Night in the Woods, but I've seen some Let's Players do it, and it looks like a really cool game. And of course, this has got the same art style, and it looks like something. If I ever get around to playing Night in the Woods, then I might get to this.
Yes.
That was exactly how I felt.
It looks like another, like another Neo, a 2D, not cell shaded, but voxel shaded, whatever the hell it's called, where it's all the same color. That's gonna try to give you a story that makes you cry.
Yeah, that's possible.
Night in the Woods was kind of like a top-down perspective visual novel, more or less. This was my understanding.
And there's nothing
So-
wrong with that, but it's it's not anything to go screaming to the top of the mountains about.
The next game they showed off was Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and it looks fun. Taking down
Isn't
dragons.
Grand Blue Fantasy a free-to-play mobile game?
Probably, but I'm watching the PlayStation trailer and it looks pretty good. You play, it's very anime-esque, and you fight giant monsters and you fight dragons, and there might be co-op.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
a
sure.
JRPG. Wow.
I like JRPGs. They're sometimes good. Street Fighter 6 is showing off more of its story and cutscenes. Anybody gonna get this? Because I know that it's been in beta. It's also coming out on June 2nd. So
My friend Tyler says that it's the best fighting game in years, just in general, particularly for casual players. So I'm not going to get it, probably, but I will check it out.
I know that Durga has been playing the beta a little bit, and he really likes the Street Fighter games. So who knows? Maybe it will be the best game or the best fighting game in years. It says here Ultros keeps the new game with fascinating look streak going. I guess.
And the
Side-scrolling
link just
action
goes
game.
to the full PlayStation showcase.
What?
So
What?
I fucked that one up.
Come on.
Sounds like I don't care though. So
Yeah, probably.
Another 2D vector-based art, side-scrolling platform made to make you cry.
Tower of Fantasy is a free-to-play mobile game. So
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I think it's on PC already, and it's bad.
it is.
Dragon's Dogma 2, which I'm excited for. Anybody else? I could see Connor liking Dragon's Dogma.
I enjoyed the first game. I never owned it, but I did get to play it on a friend's PlayStation. I thought it was a solid game that ultimately didn't perform well enough to be enjoyable. So let's see how the performance on the second one
Well,
goes.
that being said, if you wanted to play it all the way through, there's Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for the PC, and I think it runs well on the Steam Deck.
That is good to know.
That is, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen is Dragon's Dogma, but all the DLC, I think. And like there's some tweaks to the gameplay.
Yeah, I think they changed some things, but not enough for it to really matter.
Yeah. So if you
In a
were
negative way.
interested, if you were interested in that goes on sale all the time. And I have been meaning to play through that game for years. I just haven't, done it because I'm a bad person, and I play games that run at 1080p at 30 frames a second. The next one, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, Aroa.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did it.
I'll get it if it comes out on PC.
We'll talk about that in a bit, but I don't. It's Help Wanted. Is it just a normal Five Nights at Freddy's game, or do they do something different with the Help
That's
Wanted?
the thing. I don't know what Help Wanted 2 is going to be, because Help Wanted 1 was basically just a remake of all of the Five Nights at Freddy's games in VR, along with some extra little mini games that were really fun.
Oh.
And then they did some DLC that was Halloween themed. And it's Sister Location.
Oh,
I'm excited about that. Okay.
You're not allowed to do that.
So-
This is a family-friendly podcast.
No, it's not.
Like I clicked on the trailer and I skipped to just 20 seconds in, and as soon as I realized it was a Sister Location elevator, oh man, I'm pretty excited about that. I do. What else though? Because Sister Location's maybe a couple hour experience tops. So I wonder what all they're gonna do with it. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. They are coming out with a VR mode for Resident Evil 4. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes, I stand thoroughly corrected on the idea of VR being dead.
nope.
Well,
they're-
Sony, yeah. As long as Sony has their way, it's not going to die. But I do think that it's stagnating hardcore, even with Sony's efforts.
Yes. There is also, and there's a bunch. I think it's 4 or 5 VR games in a row. Arizona Sunshine 2, which you played Arizona Sunshine, right? Rowan?
Connor did.
I played
okay.
the fuck out of Arizona Sunshine 1. That was a great game.
Well, they're coming out with Arizona Sunshine 2 if you want to zombie shooting in VR. So
And it's coming to PC.
yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that. That's the thing that we're gonna talk about at the end of this, because this is a Sony.
I don't even know what
showcase.
you're talking about. There's nothing.
There's
nothing in the list to talk about with that. So
yeah. Well, no, it's don't we'll talk about that
Let
afterwards.
him
All right,
be
well,
mad. It's the
go.
joke.
Crossfire
Go, get on with it.
is another VR game that I don't recall what's happening, but I assume it is that stupid board game that they had when I was a kid called Crossfire.
No,
Right?
Crossfire. No.
no, it's not.
That commercial was
well,
amazing.
Yeah. It was.
Actually, the funny, it might have been related to that. I don't know. But it doesn't matter because Crossfire is dead. Like the original game is dead. But this is like a VR spin-off of the original game. And in case you forgot about Crossfire, that was like a fucking thing that Remedy worked on it. Which they're the Alan Wake people. They worked on like the single player stuff. And then there was a separate multiplayer component. And that that's always gone well in the past. And back in February, they took that game offline. Like you can't even play the single player anymore. Oh no, sorry. They announced it in February. They took it down 10 days ago.
And it's going to be the Crossfire or whatever it's called. It's Sierra Squad.
Squad.
And they showed 0 gameplay footage, which was awesome. And then they have Synapse was announced. Again, another first-person shooter VR game that looks fine. And
Says
apparently you
looks
have
like
force
Inception
powers.
and Super Hot.
Yeah,
That
and you have
sounds cool.
force powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's coming out on PC?
fine. Yeah. Probably. We'll discuss that in a bit. I at least have something to discuss about that in a bit.
I'm gonna keep asking it until the end. So
Beat Saber is now on PSVR 2,
That one's definitely coming out to PC.
and there's a Queen music pack.
that just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me.
Why not? It's Queen.
I saw the announcement of that on Steam, and it's just Queen. Does Queen really have that many songs that you want to dance to?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't like Queen, but Queen's good.
I never said I don't like Queen.
I
I think
it
they're
doesn't.
fine.
I don't think that game like Beat Saber. I don't think necessarily is a. I don't think of it as a dancing game. I think of it as a rhythm game.
Yeah,
And
but like the way
Yeah.
it would be like playing DDR to Queen music. Like it just doesn't. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do that. I
interesting.
wouldn't want to.
There is a version of We Will Rock You on some DDR mixes.
But is it like a remix? Because I could
It's-
see doing it with like a remix. But
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a cover, but the rhythm is pretty close to the same.
because
Interesting.
DJ Hero had a version of that too, and the DJ Hero fucking mix is great, but it wasn't the original song. I don't know. I also don't get why everyone has to have Through the Fire and Flames in every rhythm game. Like I don't think that works for Beat Saber either.
Yeah, probably not.
It's just riding on the coattails. That one.
It is.
Yeah. So they
Does
exit the
PS
VR.
VR1 have support still? Like, would you be able to buy this Queen song pack for the PS4?
You absolutely cannot.
No, they want you to buy the PSVR 2.
The PSVR original is only compatible with the PS4. It's not forward compatible with PS5 in any way. And I don't think Beat Saber ever came out on the original PSVR because probably because of the tracking more than anything.
I thought it was. I thought it was on.
Was
Yeah,
it?
I
Yeah.
played.
Oh,
I
is
played the first Beat Saber game on
Okay.
PS4.
Yeah.
So there maybe it is on there then. Okay.
So
But-
yeah, like I might dust off my PS4 headset if I can get the Queen pack.
And then they moved away from the VR and they announced Marathon. Made
That
by-
was a weird one.
that was
I was
weird.
not expecting that.
And it is a sci-fi extraction shooter. And
Okay.
in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, before Bungie did Halo and Destiny, they made, what was it, 3 marathon games?
Something like that.
Which were like old first-person shooter games.
Like they looked like they were made in either like the Doom engine or the Build engine.
Yeah.
I don't think they were. I think it was an in-house engine, but like that's just everything was 2D in a pseudo 3D environment, and you were like shooting at sprites and stuff. It's
And-
really
it was
weird
like a
for them
Doom
to
shooter
bring back.
kind of.
And now it is
Yeah.
a multiplayer sci-fi extraction shooter.
Which by extraction shooter, that generally refers to stuff like Tarkov and that one mode of the Division.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how good this is going to be.
I'm
just a
very
cutscene.
interested,
I'm
honestly.
I'm happy that they're bringing it back. If I could see a world where Marathon does real well, and then they remake Myth as well,
Oh,
and then they just
God.
remake Halo.
Yeah.
Like just with what Bungie's done with transferring the MMO game, like just game feel into a first person shooter, like I have full confidence in their capability of sort of making the extraction shooter a lot more accessible to somebody who's more casual, because I love the concept of Tarkov, but I fucking hate Tarkov.
Oh yeah, me too.
And
yeah.
The whatever the hell, the one Dark and Darker, assuming that doesn't get lawsuited out of existence, that one does a lot better job of being accessible. But I could see Bungie doing a fantastic job of making that something that like a lot of people want to play.
That would actually be maybe fun.
Yeah.
Bungie also basically there's more stuff coming out for Destiny 2, and some guy people might have heard of, Nathan Fillion. I don't know, he's been in some stuff. He's coming back to the franchise.
Well,
For
probably as like a ghost or something.
Yeah, it's called The Final Shape. Is the next
Does that mean
expansion
that they're
or whatnot.
prepping for Destiny 3?
Probably. They also revealed Concord, which I did not get to see.
That's okay. You're not missing much.
Was I not missing much? What was it?
They were the developers of The Persistence,
What's that?
which I think that was like a bad VR game. Yeah, I played the demo for it and it was awful.
Right. There's no gameplay.
It was like impressively bad. That fucking VR game.
Yeah. Concord, Fire Sprite Studio revealed Concord, and that's it. Like they showed you around a spaceship, and that's about it. Then they
next
had,
game.
well, no, not next game. Next movie, Gran
movie.
Turismo. The Gran Turismo movie. That
Yep,
looks
next
like
game.
shit.
How does that even work?
It's a
That'd be like having a
Fargo
fucking.
fast, man.
It'd be like
Yeah.
having a Forza movie.
Well, Gran Turismo is the name of like an actual race, right?
yeah.
Like in France, is it just about
Is it?
that?
Well, and then not even next game. The next thing that was released, Sony PlayStation earbuds.
Oh yeah, they
I'm
did talk
actually
about
interested in those. Not gonna lie.
And the earbuds look nice. The problem, I thought, okay, those will probably be great. Sony makes great products. PlayStation, when they release their products, like they're pretty high quality. They're going to be overpriced. They're going to be
They're
like
gonna be-
$300.
They're gonna be overpriced, but if they are low latency and they're lower latency than like Sony's normal wireless earbuds, that could be that could be enough for me.
That could be,
Because
yeah.
the one problem with wireless earbuds and the fact that every fucking phone has dropped the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is latency with rhythm games on mobile, because all of the fucking rhythm games are on mobile now. And
Interesting.
like I can't play with just the speakers. I mean, it's obnoxious. So
And I missed it. There was actually another one. Another
Oh, I
one
thought you
before that.
intentionally skipped it.
No, my brain just went away from it. It accidentally skipped it because it's
no one
so
cares about it.
stupid. The Project Q.
It sure is a PS Vita. Like it's doing exactly what the
It's
PS Vita
not
already
even
does.
the Vita.
It's a
not
Wii U
even that.
gamepad.
Like,
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
It does it like. All right, the Steam Deck, right? You look at the Steam Deck, you see it is a full functional handheld console / computer. Like it looks like it was designed that way. The Project Q just has a controller cut in half and welded to the side of a screen.
It's
so bad.
To be fair to Sony, the product concept seems to be something that there's a market for, or that tech companies are just creating a market for by just putting these things out there. But like every fucking hardware manufacturer has some kind of Android tablet with a controller on the sides of it, and all it is for either streaming games via Xbox streaming service or GeForce Now or whatever, or for streaming games from your PC to that thing.
And that is what this is. It is.
Yeah, that's all this is but from what they've said, it's not even an Android tablet. Like it literally, all it can do is connect to your PS5 and play via remote play. And even then only inside your house. So if it's more than $100, it's a dumb waste of money.
It's gonna be like $250.
It probably is. That's the worst thing. And like I do think they're right in that there is a definite market for like kids / the kids as parents who like the parents want to watch something on the big TV, the kids want to play PS5. So you have this little fucking tablet screen that they can play the PS5 games on. I think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But this is going to be way too expensive to answer that problem.
And even
and also the Wii U exists.
Yeah,
and look at how that went.
Let's say it was even $150, $200, right? There might be a market for it because sometimes I don't want to. My PS5 is in my living room, and sometimes I want to go lay down in my bed, and I don't want to unplug my PS5 and take it into my bedroom and play it there. So having this may be good for some people who just want to be like, I want to lay down and play games before bed, but but my PS5's in my living room.
Who does that?
Yeah, who does that? Who plays games for like 10 to 15 minutes before bed every single night?
Madness.
Crazy.
Now, if I'm assuming, now maybe it won't be the case, but I'm assuming this will be able to be used just as a standard controller as well. So, I mean, it could end up being an appealing thing if it is only like $150 for it to. It needs to be.
It needs to be, but
if
it
wants to sell. But
it's gonna be $299.
If they can hit, God, if it's $299, it needs to have more functionality.
I could see $299 actually.
Just make it a fucking Android tablet then. At least do that. But we don't know. Nobody knows what the fuck it is outside of it's going to stream games to it. Maybe they'll announce more functionality later. But with a DualSense controller being $70, I could see paying double the price for adding that extra functionality in there, as long as it can actually function as a standard DualSense controller.
It might. I have no idea.
What I read, it does have like the same. It has the haptic triggers and all that good shit, and like the stupid sound shit that they've invested a ton of money into that I don't think anyone cares about.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of that. They just chopped the controller in half and welded it to the sides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has all the functionality, so I would think that it should work as a standard controller. And if it can do that and then keep under, I'll be gracious and say under $200, so $199.99. I think it's viable.
Yeah,
it's not like not a lot of people are going to get it, but enough people would get it.
I won't buy it. I have a PS5 and I won't buy it.
Well, yeah, but when do you play games on your PS5?
I played exactly one game on my PS5.
Exactly, because you're not a PS5 gamer, but there are enough people out there who they play console games, they only play console games, and they would like something like this.
That's true.
And I get it, but
And
it needs to be cheap.
We
enough.
are going to talk about the last game. The last game they showed off, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. It looks great.
Looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
it looks like it feels like you're Spider-Man battling a sim.
I loved Spider-Man 1 and the one that came out a few years ago.
Did it
for
make
the
you feel
PlayStation
like
4.
a rebellious black teen?
No, that's Spider-Man
that was
2.
Miles Morales.
That's Miles Morales, and I haven't played that one. I have nothing against that one. I just haven't played it because it's like $45 or like $40, and it's not long enough.
What about the swagger? Don't you want the swagger of it? I'm quoting a developer, by the way. I'm more paraphrasing, but that was something they said during one of their marketing things for the fucking game, and it was really stupid and like vaguely racist.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Roa, like you're going in on this one, aren't you? It's nice to know that was from a developer, not from your head.
No.
However,
I didn't even know Miles Morales was black when that game came out.
Yeah, you don't read comic books or anything. So.
Well, he's Afro-Latino, technically.
Yeah.
I will say, now that I'm watching this gameplay reveal, this actually looks like really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted a game where I could just run around being Venom for a long time now. And it looks like you could do the thing you could do in Grand Theft Auto 5 where you could hot swap between the two. It's going to be dope, homie.
Ultimate Spider-Man was my favorite Spider-Man game whenever I was younger. And you got to be Venom in that, so...
I do like there's a part where... And I don't know how much of this is actual gameplay. I assume that this is actual game, like a snippet of actual gameplay that was taken out.
Looks like what the first Spider-Man game looked like.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't be.
And
that's okay.
I know that the developers, there was some QA guys, and their entire job for the last 3 months was to make this trailer look as good as possible. Like they fuck up on a jump and they're like, we have to restart it again and then re-record it and play through that section of the game perfectly so that it looks good in the trailer. So I feel bad for those QA guys, but it does look great. I'm really excited for Spider-Man 2. I might actually buy this game and be one of those games that I actually play on the PS5, even though it'll be $70 and that pisses me off.
I can't wait for it to come out on PC a year later.
Yep. And what I was talking about earlier, there are 12 games that were announced for PS5 conference or whatever, the Sony conference, that are also coming to Xbox. Immortals of Avum, Ghost Runner 2, Marathon, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Dragon's Dogma 2, Alan Wake 2, Plucky Squire.
Snake Hunter.
Yeah, it took you a minute to catch what I said. Snake Eater. I caught myself. The Plucky Squire, Teardown, Assassin's Creed Mirage apparently is coming to Xbox. I assume all of these are also coming to PC. The Neva whatever, Cat Quest, and Talos Principle 2. All 12 of those games are also going to be coming to Xbox and I presume PC. And they also Street Fighter 6 and Destiny 2 The Final Shape, since they are both coming to the Series S, X, and PC as well. So most of the stuff that they announced at the State of Play is cross-platform. And we will see what's going to happen. I think June 11th is when Microsoft is doing their conference. So we'll discuss the Microsoft conference after June 11th. And that's it. That's all the games that were announced and the State of Play and all our news stories for this week. Did anyone have anything to say before we end this podcast?
So, Gran Turismo is just the
Movie.
name of the game series.
Uh-huh.
And the movie is going to be, I learned a new word today, a Bildungsroman, which is the proper name for a coming-of-age story of GT Academy, which is Gran Turismo Academy graduate Jan Mardenborough, and his transition from gamer to race car driver.
So it sounds... I remember seeing the trailer, and then I immediately forgot about it.
Did it show Orlando Bloom is going to be in it?
I don't
Orlando
remember.
Bloom's going to be in it. And I think that's just
Fascinating.
really weird.
Again, I don't know, man. I was probably working and only half paying attention to the state of play.
And GT Academy was a it was a reality TV show that Sony put on along with Nissan to train really, really skilled Gran Turismo players to become actual race car drivers.
This movie's gonna be awful, isn't it?
And so this is a non-fiction coming of age story that is portraying this person going from being the best Gran Turismo player in the world to being an actual Nissan sport racer, which Nissan really,
Yeah.
that sucks. Ugh. Yeah.
What's wrong with Nissans?
Honestly, the main thing is just their transmissions.
Oh.
Nissan can't. Ever since they went to CVTs, Nissan can't make a fucking transmission to save their life. Let me tell you.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about cars. Andrew.
Yeah, that was why I started doing the little
that felt
sippy thing,
weird.
like a. What? Oh, did you call me Andrew?
Yeah.
But that does sound like a really cool movie.
I think it sounds
I think it'll
awful,
be fine.
but
I think if you're going to do a Gran Turismo movie, how else do you do it?
yeah.
And I didn't even know that TV show thing was a thing. And the fact that they can document it in this way, that sounds pretty cool. I'm not going to watch it because I don't give a shit. But, like, for people who are really into racing games, like, what a way to legitimize you liking racing games than have an entire feature film based around a dude who plays a racing game so much he becomes a real racer.
Yeah, I think ultimately this is not a movie for us. We are not the target demographic.
Does
Nope.
anybody remember? And then we're gonna end it. They had like a Big Brother reality show for the PS3, and it was only on the PS3. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the tester, and Ego Raptor Aaron Hansen was on it, and they kicked him off because he wouldn't play ball with the reality TV producers.
Yeah, because I remember I was watching somebody else who was on there because they got a bunch of, we now call them influencers, but back then it was just like people who make YouTube videos.
Content creators.
They didn't call them that back then.
Aaron was still just like an animator back then. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't even do Game Grumps yet.
Well, you say just an animator, but animation is so much work.
Well,
It is.
I say just, yeah. In reality, like that, a lot of his stuff back then was some of the best stuff he's ever put out. But
I remember somebody like saying that they're he's like, oh yeah, we walked into a room, like the main room area, and they're like, okay, you need to walk in again and be more surprised. And I'm just like, oh, good. It's nice to know that everything in that is fake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I have a friend.
Aaron was treating everything like a big joke, and the
is.
producers got pissed off at him.
It all is a joke. I have a friend who still thinks Big Brother is real, and I'm like, you realize it's all fake, right? Like, Big Brother
it's
is
as real as wrestling.
That's what I've said. I was like, it is as real as professional wrestling, and she's like, well, no, could they do? I'm like, no, that's what we call kayfabe. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here, Nicole.
Thank you. And one last thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about the VR game about the Negro Leagues, the title of the game is Barnstormers Determined to Win.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for having me today.
Of course, you are always welcome.
Yay.
Aroa, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna play Texas Chainsaw Massacre now because I finally got into the alpha.
Oh well, wait, is that like a Friday the 13th?
It's Friday the 13th, baby.
Nice.
It's from the same devs, and it's very, very similar.
Nice.
I can't wait to kill people
While blasting Shrek.
while blasting Shrek.
And thank you for being here, Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It was fun looking all of those Nintendo products from the last 20 years or so.
Yeah. And of course, we'll be back next week. I've been your host, Nathan Renee Spruth. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.